have to deal with. And skipping it can be troublesome, really almost as troublesome as the weather. So here to keep us in gear safely, our car coach, LaurenFix. Lauren, always great to have you. We always need to check in season by season. So let's talk about this, this very different terrains and snow that we are getting. How is driving in the mountains with snow different than driving on a flat interstate?
Well, certainly once driving into the mountains, these elevation changes can make it really difficult driving, especially if you don't have experience. So I always recommend practicing in a parking lot, or you can take the Bridgestone Winter Driving School in Colorado. Any of that is really helpful to practice. So it's not an uncomfortable situation when you're driving up a hill and your tires are spinning because you have all-season tires. And these are huge problems. What you really need is snow, and the snow will give you better grip than ice. And of course, you're talking about ice and snow, and having that virtual simulation is really great for teaching new drivers how to handle these type of conditions, because it doesn't happen every day. On a flat ground, you can grab traction on the side, grabbing some snow on the side of the road. But when you're going up a hill, you really have to plan. You have to keep what we call momentum. So in other words, you can go to a lower gear shift. If you can in your vehicle, you can shift down a gear. You probably don't do that every day, and probably maybe never. But what that will do is give you better traction. And of course, winter tires, such as Blizzak 6, which I just test drove, I was able to see a difference. So a brand new winter tire, if you don't have winter tires, you're running on all seasons, they get packed, they get smooth, and then you're not going to get traction. So there's a 40-degree rule. Below 40 degrees, you see snow 3 times a year. Winter tires make sense. If you've got a large SUV, most people think, well, I've got an SUV, I don't have to worry about it. But the truth is, there's still an all-season tire unless they're rated on the side. There's these little peaks on the side of every tire that tells you if they're designed for snow conditions. If they're not, you want to look at a mud and snow or an all-terrain tire that will help get you better traction. Again, that's one of the things that people typically don't do because they think it gets loud. There's a lot of new tires out there. We just tried the Bridgestone Dueler, and it wasn't loud at all, which is what you used to expect with tires. So people did kind of deterred from getting them. So remember, when you drive in hilly conditions, whether it's Pennsylvania, Colorado, or anywhere in this country that you cover every single state, it's important to note that you do need winter tires if you see snow 3 times a year.
Yeah, those tires certainly make a huge difference. So if you're out driving and you get caught in a snow squall or snow squall warning and you find yourself unable to see, what is the advice for people to do?
All right, if it's during the day and you have a pair of polarized glasses, that really helps because it cuts the glare. And one of the things that we noticed, I was out and it was like 0 degrees in Colorado, it looked pure white. And that's what you will see, nothing but pure white. And you can't see the road or the variations in the road or what's ahead. That's very concerning because obviously 80% of your driving decisions are based on visibility. So if you have a pair of polarized glasses during the day, that's important. At night, if that's the case, use your low beams, not your high beams, because they'll reflect off the snow and make it absolutely blinding. So you want to remember to slow down, give a larger distance between you and the other vehicle. And if it's truly unsafe, either don't go out, or if you are out, try to find a safe place to park, whether it be a gas station, a truck stop, someplace until the weather passes, because the roads will become unpassable at certain times. And you've covered that before. And I live in Buffalo, so I will tell you, I've been through unpassable roads, and there's just sometimes it's best to stay home.
Yeah. Speaking of unpassable roads, people who have four-wheel drive always think they can get out, but four-wheel drive doesn't mean four-wheel stop. So what's the recommendation there?
That is 100% true. Again, that's something you should practice in a parking lot, especially if you have new drivers or maybe you just moved to the colder climate and used to live in warmer climate. You haven't driven in that. Find an empty parking lot and just hit the brakes, and you'll feel that anti-lock braking, that pulsing underneath your pedal. That's going to give you the ability to stop. However, it is a longer distance than the cars of back before 2000. So you have to keep that in mind. It's good to practice and get that feel. And brakes are important. So again, if you haven't maintained your car, maybe you don't have the money, one of the things you don't want to ever skimp on is tires and brakes, because one will contact the road and the other one will stop you. And remember, the best thing you can do is when you practice this in a parking lot is to use the gas pedal, not the brake pedal. If you're thinking, boy, I'm starting to slide, I'm really concerned, your natural reaction from anyone is to hit the brakes because you want the situation to stop. But the truth is you want to learn to play that gas pedal a little bit and look where you want to steer, and that will give you the ability to get away from that situation. If you look at an accident, you're going to be in one. If you look away from where you want to go, actually turn your head, you will actually be able to drive away from a situation. But remember, gas, not brakes.
That is great advice. Car coach LaurenFix, thank you so much for stopping by here. Excellent advice.
Always.
Yeah.